Dragon Ballers, if you're looking to buy Dragon Ball Super or One Piece sealed product, make sure to get 5% off using my link to Mystic TCG down in the description. You can also sell cards to them using their Facebook link, which is also down in the description. Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. We are back into set 21 reveals, and today I'll be going over the Red Garlic Jr. archetype, and at the end of the video, we'll go over some older Red Wish support that will work with this deck. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video, and let's just jump right on in, starting with the leader. We have Garlic Jr. Activate main, switch card to rest mode, play up to 1 red Ginger, Sancio, or Nikki with energy cost of 1 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. Pretty cool effect, to be honest, straight up playing a 1-drop from your deck. Seems like it might lead to some pretty interesting card advantage cycles, but we'll see when we get through the rest of the cards. Wish, when there are 7 Dragon Balls in your drop, add up to 1 Garlic Jr.'s Ambition from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Once again, straight up deck searching seems pretty cool. Then we have the Awakened side, Garlic Jr. Immortal Being. Activate main once per turn, choose 1. You can either play up to 1 red Ginger, Sancio, or Nikki with an energy cost of 4 from your deck with its skills negated for the turn, then shuffle your deck. A free play ability for a 4 cost. Obviously the 4 costs are able to do. They are negated for the turn, but that does seem like it could be kind of powerful. Or you can activate the Activate main skill up to 1 red or black Desire from your hand with an energy cost less than or equal to your current energy. So one really generic one that any Wish deck can play would be Assembling the Squad. We'll see what the Desires for this deck specifically do though. Then we have Active Battle for a red. If your life's at 2 or less and you remove 7 Dragon Ball cards in your drop from the game, you don't take damage for the turn, then flip this card over at the end of the turn. That's kind of insane. Like, your Activate Battle and your quote-unquote ultimate, like a lot of Wish leaders have abilities that remove all 7 Dragon Balls from their drop to basically pull off some crazy effect. This leader has a built-in Baby Hachiyak, which seems pretty insane. To straight up not taking damage, that does definitely seem nuts. So, good leader, at least from the looks of it. Obviously, it depends a little bit on what the Ginger, Sancio, and Nikki cards do. Let's keep on going, though. We will go to the Z deck. We have Garlic Jr. Child of Evil, a 1-cost 1Z energy card. Deflect, Barrier, Z stack 2. Red Garlic Jr., the Z energy cost of 3. So that is both of the Garlic Jr.'s that we'll see here in a bit. So first we have Permanent. If this card has Indestructible, it gets plus 10k power. That's a really cool balancing thing they did here. The Garlic Jr. cards gain Indestructible temporarily, not all the time, right? It's not a permanent on the card. So that's a pretty good balance lever because red has just been really strong for several sets now. If these things just straight up had Indestructible straight from the Z deck, that'd be a really big pain for a lot of decks to deal with. Although funnily enough, in the red mirror, it really wouldn't be that much of a problem. But for other colors, it would be kind of annoying unless you side deck specific hate cards like the Black Zeno coming out in or that came out in the recent TP pack. Activate main limit 1 for a red. If your leader is a red Garlic Jr., you have 3 or more energy. Play up to 1 red Garlic Jr. with energy cost of 3 from under this card on top of this card in active mode. So if you do have the Indestructible buff, you can swing this thing for 15k, which for a 1-drop, 1Z energy card, that's definitely pretty good. Garlic Jr. Destruction and Revenge, 3 cost, 15k, deflect, permanent. If this card is indestructible, it gets plus 10k for power. And then auto, if a Garlic Jr. is under this card, when this card's played, minus 20k to one of your opponent's battle cards. And then activate main limit 1 for a red. If your leader is a red Garlic Jr. and you have 4 or more energy, play up to 1 red Garlic Jr. with energy cost of 5 from under this card on top of this card in active mode. So you get to swing out with all these Z battle cards, potentially even the 1-drop, and then evolve on top in active mode, which is a really nice form of aggression from the Z deck. Then we have the 5-cost Garlic Jr. absorbing all. We have critical, permanent. If this card has Indestructible, it gets plus 10k power and double strike. 35k double crit is some pretty nutty stats. And then we have auto. When this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and or unisons, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30k power for the turn. Really strong Z deck chain. Seems real good. Let's take a look at some more of the main deck cards. We have Garlic Jr.'s Ambition, the card you search when you wish and flip over. Permanent. This card gains Desire in all areas. Activate main. If your leader is red, draw 1 card. Choose up to 1 red Garlic Jr. from your battle area, and that card gains Indestructible to the end of your opponent's turn. Additionally, if this card was activated by one of your red Shenron skills, draw 1 card. What's funny is that you can activate this in any red leader, although you obviously don't really have much of a reason to unless you're playing this specific leader. And when you do use it for free, you draw 2 cards. So that seems like the leader's way of making up for not necessarily raw plussing or raw drawing on either of its sides. One thing I should point out about the leader too is that the Unawakened side did not search Dragon Balls from the looks of it. So we'll have to see how we get Awakened. Hopefully it's consistent enough. But this card drawing 2 on the Awakened side does seem pretty solid. Then we have Garlic Jr. Dark Ambitions. One costs 4k. When this card's played, add up to 1 Garlic Jr.'s Ambition from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Activate main limit 1, play up to 1 red Ginger, Sancio, or Nikki with energy cost of 1 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. So even more ways to pull those 1-drops straight from the deck. All right, some final Garlic Jr. cards. We have a super rare for the deck. We have a 5-drop 20k auto. When this card's played from your hand, play up to 1 Demon Clan from your deck with energy cost of 2 or 4 and a power of 15k or less, with its skills negated for the game, and then shuffle your deck. So I think there's actually a lot of options for that to be played. We'll have to look deeper into them, but it doesn't have an energy cost restriction first and foremost. That is super interesting. So we'll have to see what other options we have there for other colors and other Demon Clans of different costs. But that's a really cool effect. I love when they leave stuff generic like that, and it allows players to experiment and see if there's anything cool to actually play with that. Activate limit 1 for an energy of any color. If your leader is a Garlic Jr., you have 3 or more energy, and you place 1 card at the bottom of your deck. Play this card from your hand and choose 1. You can either draw a card or add up to 1 Garlic Jr.'s Ambition from your drop to your hand. Okay, so they totally printed this with the intention to be usable in the yellow Garlic Jr. deck, which again, I absolutely love that they did that, because it costs 1 colorless, and you can play any Demon Clan that costs 2 from your deck, which is going to encapsulate a lot of those yellow Garlic Jr.'s. This is really cool. I'm clapping for Bandai for making a card that is very, very neat. Then we have Garlic Jr. Invitation to Eternal Darkness. Another super rare. We have an 8-cost dual attack 30k. We have permanent. If this card has Indestructible, your opponent's battle cards and unisons get minus 10k power. Now, this is actually a ruling I don't know. What if your opponent has a unison that only has 10k power or less, and it's just like permanently being set to 0? Does it just die just like a battle card would? Like, I don't think a unison can exist in the board at 0 power, because when a unison's power drops below its regular value, it loses a marker and resets. But if that's just permanently applying, does it just lose markers until it dies? If you know that, drop it down in the comments, because I actually do not know how that works. Auto, at the end of your opponent's turn, remove this card from the game. I always hate when there's effects like that, when you invest what seems like a decent amount into a card like this. Like, in this case, it looks like it only costs 2. Activate main limit 1 for 2 red. If your leader is red and you have 4 or more energy, play this card from your hand. Choose all battle cards other than this card to get minus 15 for the turn. I guess a 2-drop 30k for any red leader. I guess that auto is actually pretty balanced. It just reminded me of stuff like Green Goku from like set 15, where you invest all this energy into a Kaioken Goku and it just dies like the next turn. It kind of sucks. But this thing being playable in any red deck for 2 red actually is really, really good. For a 30k dual attacker, that's actually kind of nuts, to be honest. It's like a better Piccolo the Infiltrator, but you obviously can't play it till much later in the game. Very, very good card for the SR slot. All right, now we get into our actual Demon Clan cards. We have Ginger, Malevolent Henchman, 1 cost 4k auto. If your leader is a red Garlic Jr., when this card's played, choose 1. Add up to 1 red Ginger with energy cost of 4 from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Or you may place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. If you do, look at your deck and life, add up to 2 Dragon Balls to your hand, then shuffle any areas you look through using this skill. Okay, so we'll probably see a pattern here where all the 1-drops do that type of thing, search their counterpart, or search 2 Dragon Balls. So your leader plays the 1-drops that then search the Dragon Balls, which actually makes nice Z energy, not gonna lie. That's a pretty efficient form of Z energy, because you're still getting your double Dragon Ball search, although bottom decking a card is kind of annoying to have to do that in the process. Then we have Ginger 2-sword technique. People are memeing this card because he's not actually holding swords, which is kind of funny. So we have permanent. If you have a Garlic Jr. with Indestructible in play, it gets plus 5k power and double strike. Activate limit 1 for a red. If you have a red Garlic Jr. in play, this card play this card from your hand. So decent aggressive piece for sure. All right, then we have Nikki. So same thing for the 1-drop. You can either search the 4-cost counterpart or bottom deck card from your hand to search 2 Dragon Balls. And then we have Nikki 1-sword technique. We have 4-drop 15k permanent. If you have a Garlic Jr. with Indestructible in play, this card gets plus 5k and critical. Activate limit 1 for a red. If you have a red Garlic Jr. in play this card from your hand. So that will always be satisfied from the looks of it by the 1-cost Z battle card that has Deflect and Barrier. That's a really safe card to just throw out there as early as you possibly can. And then once you activate your Desire, your Garlic Jr. Ambition, these different 4-drops should gain their respective buffs, which is pretty good. And then we have Sancio, same thing on the 1-drop, either search out the Sancio 4-drop or 2 Dragon Balls from the deck. And then we have the 4-drop Sancio Giant Fighting Spirit, 4-drop 15k counterattack, negate the attack and play this card in rest mode. Permanent, if you have a red Garlic Jr. with energy cost of 5 or more and Indestructible in play, you may activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. There's so many like villainous archetypes that have these free negates, like Red Shin Shenron, Red Android 13. I mean, they're super cool. I love having more forms of defense. So definitely not a bad thing, but it's just an effect they love to come back to. Absolutely. All right, guys, we'll be taking a look at the cards you can also play in this archetype that are not from the set. But real quick, this is a worded snippet from my upcoming comic book, New Mafia Genesis. I've been studying how to actually letter comic books myself, so I put all the wording on this beautiful artwork done by my artist, Matt Clark. If you want to go for a read, I think that this actually encapsulates the story really, really well. So if this catches your eye, maybe interests you, you can check out my crowdfunding campaign down in the description in my link tree. I really would appreciate it. Just wanted to show you guys this real quick. Anyways, let's go on to the cards that you can find that are not from this set that do work well in this deck. So we have a 0 cost tournament pack card, Get That Monster. I believe this card was bought out, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Normally when that happens, the cards end up not really selling for the ridiculous price they're at, and they end up going back down to a reasonable price. So we have 0 cost, activate battle limit 1. If your leader is a red Shenron card, choose one. You can either add up to 1 Dragon Ball from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck, or you can add 1 red Desire card with energy cost of 1 or 2 from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So incredible card. I mean, offers all the deck searching you could possibly want. Kind of weird that it's an activate battle speed. Doesn't make it super good on turn 1 going first, but other than that, should generally be a very good card for the deck. And if it is at a ridiculous price right now, I haven't checked it. I'm sure it'll settle down, especially when we get a little bit closer to the set release, if it was bought out recently. Then we have Familial Bonds. This is a 2 cost red Desire. Activate main. If your leader is red, choose 1 red sand in your drop with an energy cost of 3 or less and 15k power less, and play it. If you played a card, choose 2 Dragon Balls from your deck, add them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this card overall is like a very insane plus. You generate a body and add 2 cards to your hand, 2 Dragon Balls. That'll help you get awakened. Now, I'm also kind of surprised this didn't come with its own in-archetype Dragon Balls. Obviously, they want you to use the old school Dragon Balls from what I can see here. But I mean, this is not really a sand oriented deck, so while Familial Bonds is technically usable in this deck, it'll really depend if you find sands that are worth splashing and worth reviving with this. Because theoretically, let's say you start with, you know, all 7 of your Dragon Balls in your deck, and maybe you drew 1 from the beginning of the game, right? So on turn 1, you play 1 of your 1-drops for free, search a Dragon Ball. Turn 2, same thing, play a 1-drop for free, search 2 Dragon Balls, and then you can play Familial Bonds for 2, search your remaining 2 Dragon Balls. So it can work in that regard to help you get awakened, but again, it depends if there are any sands that are actually worth splashing. And then we have King Piccolo, Evil Ambitions, a really, really old promo card. Auto, this card's played. If your leader is a red Shenron card, choose up 3 Dragon Ball cards from your deck, place them in your drop, then shuffle your deck. If you place cards in your drop, choose a King Returns to Youth from your deck, activate it, and then shuffle your deck. So there's a lot of weird things with this card. The whole King's Return to Youth is a extra card that then adds another copy of itself and another red King Piccolo to your hand. So it does kind of get you cards back, but the thing with this card is it allows you to awaken very, very fast by putting 3 Dragon Balls into your drop. You do lose out on the potential draws of those Dragon Balls, so again, that might be another reason why you might not want to use this card, but I think it'll actually be a pretty solid budget alternative if Get That Monster is still like a super sought after and expensive card, right? So it is something I wanted to mention, because even though it is weird that it puts Dragon Balls in the drop, these cards have been pretty decent for their respective Wish decks. We just haven't had a good red Wish deck, I don't think, ever. So this one hasn't really seen too much play, but still a solid card. But anyways, that's what I wanted to go over in today's video. This archetype overall, it looks interesting. I mean, I really can't say it'll resemble much like Sin or Gogeta unless those decks get hit in really significant ways going into set 21. Will that happen? I mean, a lot of people are asking for it, so quite possibly. I don't know, though. We'll have to kind of wait and see. But overall, I do like this archetype. I think this can be a pretty decent one if Sin and Gogeta were to receive some hits. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.